Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's love story has often been described as the Hollywood version of a fairy tale, glamorous, enduring, and seemingly untouchable. When they first tied the knot in 2006, it felt like a match destined to last forever. Nicole, the Australian actress known for her award-winning performances in films like Moulin Rouge and The Hours, had already established herself as one of the most respected figures in Hollywood. Keith Urban, on the other hand, had carved his name as a powerhouse in country music, winning fans worldwide with his soulful voice, catchy hits, and signature guitar riffs. Together, they were not just a celebrity couple, they were an icon of balance, sophistication, and mutual admiration in an industry notorious for short-lived relationships. For years, the couple presented an image of stability that many admired. They shared two daughters, Sunday Rose, now 17, and Faith Margaret, 14, and often seemed to manage the tricky balance between career and family life seamlessly. Their joint appearances at awards shows, charity events, and even casual outings were widely covered by the media, and their social media posts often highlighted a loving family dynamic. It was easy for fans to believe that nothing could shake this perfect couple, and any whispers of trouble were largely dismissed as tabloid speculation. But, as insiders now reveal, maintaining that image wasn't easy. Behind the red carpets and public smiles, Nicole and Keith reportedly faced years of private struggles. Sources indicate that the couple had been living apart for several months before Nicole filed for divorce, suggesting that the issues were ongoing and deeply felt. Nicole, in particular, is said to have tried to hold the family together even as the pressures of high-profile careers, long-distance schedules, and parenting responsibilities took their toll. Meanwhile, Keith had acquired his own residence in Nashville, a move that was practical for his career but also symbolized a growing distance between the couple. Even as these private challenges unfolded, the couple maintained public appearances that hid the tension. In June of the year before their divorce was finalized, they were photographed attending a FIFA Club World Cup game in Nashville, celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary in front of cameras and fans. The public image was one of normalcy, joy, and togetherness, a stark contrast to the reality behind closed doors. This duality between public perception and private struggle is a common thread in celebrity marriages, but in Nicole and Keith's case, it adds a layer of intrigue that keeps fans wondering what conversations, compromises, and emotional decisions occurred behind the scenes. How did they navigate the delicate balance between personal unhappiness and maintaining a public facade? It's also important to consider the emotional stakes for their children. Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret were growing up in the public eye, and reports suggest that Nicole was determined to protect them from the pressures of fame while managing her own emotional challenges. The focus on stability, normalcy, and nurturing relationships amidst marital strife underscores that this divorce wasn't just about two adults going separate ways, it was about protecting a family legacy, maintaining dignity, and making difficult personal choices with long-term consequences. Ultimately, the story of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's marriage is one of love, dedication, and quiet struggles. It's a narrative that sets the stage for understanding why their divorce, when it finally came, would be handled with such precision, care, and an emphasis on civility, themes that will continue to unfold in the next sections. When it comes to Hollywood divorces, the public usually expects headline-grabbing settlements, multi-million-dollar spousal support, child maintenance, and complex legal battles that drag on for months. But Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's approach to their separation shattered those expectations entirely. Both stars made the rare decision to waive all child and spousal support, meaning that neither would owe the other any money post-divorce. On top of that, each agreed to cover their own legal fees and expenses. In an industry where financial disputes often dominate headlines and fuel months of speculation, this move immediately raised eyebrows. It was not just unusual, it was virtually unprecedented for two celebrities of their stature and wealth. This choice tells us something important about Nicole and Keith's priorities. By foregoing financial claims, they signaled a desire to keep the focus on family stability and personal dignity rather than money or public image battles. Some analysts suggest that this decision may have been a deliberate strategy to avoid unnecessary conflict and media scrutiny, ensuring that the children remain shielded from the drama that so often accompanies celebrity splits. Others speculate that it reflects mutual respect, a recognition that, despite their differences, both parties were willing to step back from financial disputes for the sake of civility and long-term family harmony. The waiver of support also suggests careful legal planning. In most high-profile divorces, attorneys negotiate settlements that account for years of potential child expenses, lifestyle maintenance, and career fluctuations. Nicole and Keith's decision to bypass the traditional approach indicates that they likely had confidence in each other's ability to provide for their children independently, and that their wealth allowed them to do so without relying on each other. It is a rare example of financial independence being used as a tool to prevent further strain on an already complex emotional situation. Moreover, this financial arrangement has deeper implications for how fans and the media perceive the divorce. In contrast to the typical narrative of celebrity feuds over millions, Nicole and Keith's choice conveys a story of maturity, trust, and pragmatic decision-making. There is no public battle, no sensational back-and-forth in the tabloids, and no record of bitterness being aired in court filings. Instead, it paints a picture of two adults who are committed to moving forward respectfully while putting their family first. This is particularly striking considering the long history of media speculation and paparazzi scrutiny that often accompanies couples of their fame and wealth. The decision to waive financial support also aligns with their broader parenting strategy, which emphasizes cooperation, consistency, and the emotional well-being of their daughters. By removing financial disputes from the equation, the couple was able to focus on creating a nurturing environment for Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. This highlights a recurring theme in their separation. Practicality and respect outweigh personal ego or traditional expectations. It also sparks curiosity about whether this approach could become a new standard for high-profile divorces, a blueprint that prioritizes children and civility over drama and headlines. Ultimately, Nicole and Keith's financial decisions in this divorce challenge conventional Hollywood narratives. It is a move that quietly demonstrates control, maturity, and foresight, leaving fans intrigued about what other aspects of their separation might break with expectation. In a world where celebrity splits are often messy in public, their approach is as surprising as it is admirable, setting the stage for the next crucial part of the story: how they managed custody and parenting arrangements amidst all of this. Divorce is never easy, but when children are involved, every decision carries immense emotional weight. In the case of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, their approach to custody reflects not only a commitment to their daughters, Sunday Rose, 17, and Faith Margaret, 14, but also a deliberate effort to maintain stability, consistency, and emotional security in a highly public situation. Unlike many high-profile celebrity splits that turn messy in court, Nicole and Keith crafted an agreement that emphasizes the children's well-being above all else, showing a level of civility and maturity rarely seen in Hollywood. According to court documents, the daughters will spend 306 days a year living with Nicole, while Keith will have them every other weekend. At first glance, this might seem like a standard arrangement, but what stands out is the focus on behavior, respect, and nurturing family relationships. Both parents are required to behave with each other and each child so as to provide a loving, stable, consistent, and nurturing relationship with the child, even though they are divorced. They are explicitly instructed not to speak negatively about each other or the other parent's family and to encourage the children to feel comfortable and loved in both households. In other words, the agreement is designed to protect the children's emotional landscape as much as it defines physical custody. This approach sends a clear message. The couple is determined to prioritize the daughter's mental and emotional health over personal grievances. In many celebrity divorces, custody battles often become a stage for rivalry, with allegations, lawsuits, and public commentary taking center stage. Nicole and Keith's handling of their custody arrangement defies that norm, showing restraint and careful planning. Reports indicate that Nicole was actively trying to maintain family cohesion even during periods of tension, emphasizing a parenting-first approach that is rare in Hollywood. By contrast, Keith's agreement to spend time every other weekend, while less than the majority time with Nicole, still provides meaningful engagement, suggesting cooperation rather than confrontation. What makes this custody story particularly interesting is the balance between structure and flexibility. Court documents highlight that both parents are expected to encourage the children to maintain strong, loving relationships with the other parent. This legal framing is subtle but significant. It shifts the narrative from ownership of children to shared responsibility for their well-being, an approach experts say fosters emotional stability and minimizes the trauma often associated with divorce. For Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, this arrangement ensures that they continue to enjoy strong bonds with both parents, despite the end of their parents' romantic relationship. Furthermore, The custody agreement reflects a rare level of forward thinking in celebrity families. Nicole and Keith seem to recognize that children are not just passive recipients in a divorce, they are active participants whose comfort, security, and emotional health must be safeguarded. By establishing clear guidelines about respect, behavior, and nurturing care, the couple has created a foundation that may reduce conflict in the future. This is particularly remarkable given their fame and wealth, which often invite external pressures and media intrusion into private family matters. Ultimately, Nicole and Keith's approach to custody tells a deeper story about their priorities as parents. Beyond legal filings and schedules, it underscores a commitment to love, respect, and stability for their children. It's a decision that not only protects Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret but also sets a quiet, powerful example of how even high-profile divorces can be handled with dignity. For fans and observers alike, it raises curiosity about how the couple will navigate the future, balancing careers, public appearances, and parenting in ways that continue to put the children first while the public saw smiles, family outings, and carefully curated appearances. Insiders reveal that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's marriage had quietly been under pressure for months before the divorce was finalized. For fans who only knew what was visible on red carpets or social media posts, the split may have come as a surprise. But behind closed doors, sources indicate that tension had been building, a combination of career demands, long-term emotional strain, and the complexities of maintaining a high-profile marriage in Hollywood. Nicole, known for her dedication to her craft and her family, reportedly made serious efforts to preserve the marriage. She had been juggling filming schedules, international travel, and family responsibilities while simultaneously trying to maintain stability for their daughters. Friends and insiders suggest that she wanted to keep the family together, often putting her own feelings and needs second to the children's welfare and the image of a united household. Her determination to save the marriage reflects not just personal commitment, but also the immense pressure many celebrity spouses face, maintaining public appearances while navigating personal challenges. Keith's side of the story, while less publicized, adds another layer to the narrative. Around the same time, he acquired a separate residence in Nashville, signaling a practical yet symbolic step toward independence. The move, while necessary for his career and personal space, also marked the beginning of physical and emotional distance in the relationship. Sources claim that the separation and living arrangements allowed both partners to reflect on the future, their priorities, and their capacity to maintain the marriage under growing strain. For Keith, this may have been a difficult yet necessary choice, highlighting the delicate balance between personal needs and family obligations. What makes this behind-the-scenes story particularly compelling is the contrast between the couple's public life and their private reality. In June, just months before the divorce, they were photographed attending the FIFA Club World Cup together, celebrating what appeared to be a joyful and united family outing. That same month, they marked their 19th wedding anniversary. To an outsider, the marriage looked intact, even thriving. Yet, the private reality tells a more nuanced story. Two people who loved and respected each other but had reached a point where separation was inevitable for the well-being of their family. The emotional tension also revolved around the children. Nicole reportedly took on a significant portion of caretaking responsibilities during this period, ensuring that Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret experienced as little disruption as possible. This dedication, while admirable, also points to the emotional labor that often goes unnoticed in high-profile separations. Sources suggest that she wanted to protect the children from media speculation and the pressures of public life, a factor that may have delayed the divorce process or influenced how discussions were handled behind closed doors. Finally, speculation among fans and media outlets adds a layer of intrigue. Some wonder whether Nicole and Keith had been emotionally drifting apart long before the public announcement, or whether external factors, like career opportunities or personal aspirations, influenced their decision. While there's no confirmation, these subtle hints and reports help paint a richer picture of what life was like behind the cameras: a marriage under strain, parents striving to protect their children, and a couple carefully navigating the intersection of private struggle and public perception. In essence, this behind-the-scenes tension reveals that the divorce was not impulsive. It was a thoughtful, emotionally complex decision, one that combined love, practicality, and the desire to shield their family from unnecessary pain. While the world only sees the announcement and legal filings, the private story hints at months of reflection, compromise, and preparation, setting the stage for the next chapter of their lives. Among the many surprising elements surrounding Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's divorce, one detail quietly caught the attention of fans and insiders alike: Nicole's application to become a resident of Portugal. While it might seem like a minor administrative move at first glance, the timing and context of this decision add layers of intrigue and speculation to the story of their separation. It's not just about geography, it's about independence, long-term planning, and signaling a new chapter in her life. Nicole's decision to seek residency in Portugal came just 2 months before the official divorce filing. The timing raises questions about whether she was already contemplating significant personal changes and lifestyle adjustments. Keith Urban's name was notably absent from the application, indicating that this move was made entirely independently, without coordination as a couple. This subtle detail suggests a strategic step on Nicole's part, perhaps creating the possibility for a more flexible, international lifestyle, or even preparing for a long-term change in living arrangements. In celebrity circles, such moves are often interpreted as signals of intent, hints that one partner is ready to embrace life outside the previous marital framework. Portugal itself may have appealed to Nicole for several reasons. Beyond its scenic beauty, culture, and privacy-friendly environment, it offers the kind of discretion that high-profile individuals often seek. Hollywood life, with its constant media scrutiny, paparazzi, and public expectations, can be exhausting, especially during emotionally charged events like divorce. By securing residency in Portugal, Nicole not only gains potential personal freedom but also a sanctuary where she can live, work, and travel without the intense public gaze that comes with life in Los Angeles or Nashville. This move could provide her daughters with new cultural experiences, an opportunity to spend time abroad, and a fresh perspective outside the familiar Hollywood bubble. Speculation naturally arose regarding the motivations behind the residency. Some suggest that Nicole was exploring long-term personal options, perhaps even considering a lifestyle change that would prioritize her family's well-being over career obligations in the U.S. Others theorize that it could be linked to tax, financial planning, or even property acquisition, common factors in high-profile celebrity decisions. Yet, no matter the exact reasoning, the move underscores Nicole's autonomy and her careful planning during a pivotal moment in her life. Interestingly, this detail adds nuance to the public perception of the divorce. While the official statements emphasized civility, respect, and cooperative co-parenting, the Portugal residency hints at a forward-looking strategy on Nicole's part. It reflects a mindset focused not only on managing the present challenges of separation but also on shaping her life, career, and family future with intentionality. For fans and observers, it introduces a layer of curiosity. What does this move tell us about Nicole's next steps? Will it influence Keith's choices? Could it signal potential international projects or personal reinvention? Ultimately, Nicole Kidman's Portugal residency is more than just a bureaucratic detail. It's a subtle but meaningful chapter in the story of her life post-divorce. It shows a thoughtful, strategic approach to personal freedom and family planning, and it adds depth to the narrative of the Kidman-Urban split. While the world may focus on headlines and public appearances, this quiet move highlights the deliberate choices being made behind the scenes, shaping the next chapter for Nicole and her daughters in ways that balance independence, security, and opportunity. Even as Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban navigated the emotional and legal complexities of their separation, they maintained a remarkably composed public image. This duality, private struggle versus public appearance, is a hallmark of high-profile celebrity marriages, but in their case, it adds a fascinating layer to the story. For fans who only saw the images captured by photographers and shared on social media, the couple appeared united, loving, and very much together. Yet behind those smiles, the reality was quite different. Months of reflection, tension, and careful planning had already set the stage for their eventual divorce. Their last known public appearance together was in June 2025 at the FIFA Club World Cup game in Nashville. By this time, sources indicate, they had been living apart for months, with Keith having secured a separate residence in the city. On the surface, the event portrayed the perfect family outing, Nicole and Keith smiling for cameras, interacting with their daughters, and seemingly celebrating both the occasion and their life together. But anyone who looked closer at timing and context could notice subtle signs, gestures that reflected polite civility rather than romantic connection, careful positioning for photographs, and interactions that seemed more functional than affectionate. These nuanced details often go unnoticed by casual observers but tell a story of a couple maintaining appearances while privately managing the end of their marriage. In the same month, the couple celebrated their 19th wedding anniversary, another symbolic moment. For the outside world, this milestone reinforced the image of enduring love, longevity, and family stability. However, behind the scenes, it likely represented a bittersweet recognition of the years they had shared, the life they had built, and the difficult decision that was looming. Insiders suggest that such public moments were intentional, a way to maintain normalcy for their daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, and to protect them from the full brunt of media speculation. This highlights a recurring theme throughout their separation. Parenting and family stability were prioritized above all else, even as personal relationships underwent profound change. Maintaining public appearances during this time also required immense emotional labor. Nicole, in particular, has long been recognized for her poise and professionalism, balancing her career and private life with remarkable grace. Keith, too, navigated the public eye carefully, ensuring that their interactions with fans, media, and paparazzi did not escalate or create unnecessary controversy. Together, these appearances reinforced a narrative of dignity and respect, a stark contrast to the typical celebrity divorce drama that dominates tabloids. For many fans, this created both admiration and curiosity. How does a couple manage such complex emotions while still appearing composed on the outside? What conversations, compromises, and unspoken agreements were happening off camera to maintain this facade? Finally, these final public moments serve as a bridge to understanding the divorce's overall narrative. They were not spontaneous, nor were they merely for show. They were carefully calculated events, part of a broader strategy to protect the family, preserve public image, and manage the emotional impact on the children. Each appearance, each anniversary celebration, each smile captured by the media tells a story of balance, the balance between personal heartache and parental responsibility, between private struggle and public expectation, and between the past that shaped their lives and the future that awaited them. In essence, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's final public appearances highlight the extraordinary care with which they managed their separation, composed, respectful, and intentional. They remind us that in celebrity life, what we see is often only a fraction of reality, and sometimes the quietest gestures carry the most meaning. For fans and observers, these appearances not only mark the end of an era but also set the tone for how dignity, love, and respect can survive even in the most challenging transitions. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's divorce stands apart from the typical Hollywood breakup narrative. In an industry often defined by explosive headlines, bitter court battles, and public drama, their separation is remarkable for its restraint, dignity, and thoughtful planning. After 19 years of marriage, they managed to part ways without the sensationalized conflicts that so often dominate media coverage. No millions were fought over in court. No negative statements were aired publicly. Instead, they chose a path that focused on what truly mattered: their children, their privacy, and mutual respect. From the outset, Nicole and Keith appeared to approach the divorce with clarity and intentionality. The decision to waive all child and spousal support, for instance, shocked many fans and observers, because it is so rare in celebrity separations. Yet this choice reflects a deep commitment to fairness and maturity, prioritizing the stability of their daughters over financial gain or public perception. Each parent covering their own legal expenses further demonstrates that their focus was not on material concerns, but on maintaining a peaceful, cooperative separation. In doing so, they quietly rewrote the rules for high-profile divorces, showing that it is possible to exit a long-term marriage gracefully, even under the scrutiny of the global media. The custody arrangement further reinforces this approach. By ensuring that Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret have meaningful time with both parents, and by emphasizing behavior, respect, and nurturing relationships in court documents, Nicole and Keith placed their children's emotional well-being at the center of every decision. The stipulations for civility, avoiding negative comments about each other, and fostering a stable home environment are almost unprecedented for celebrity divorces. It reflects not only careful legal planning but also emotional intelligence, signaling a desire to preserve family cohesion despite the end of a marital relationship. Behind the scenes, subtle actions like Nicole's Portugal residency application hint at the broader considerations shaping their futures. These moves demonstrate strategic planning, independence, and foresight, qualities that, while less glamorous than public appearances, are arguably just as significant in telling the story of their separation. Even their final public appearances together, from the FIFA Club World Cup game to celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary, highlight their skill in balancing public expectation with private realities. Each appearance served a dual purpose: maintaining normalcy for their children and controlling the narrative in a world eager to speculate. What makes this divorce particularly compelling is the blend of private strategy and public dignity. While many celebrity separations devolve into media-fueled drama, Nicole and Keith's approach feels intentional, controlled, and grounded in care for the family unit. It's a reminder that even under extreme scrutiny, it is possible to manage complex personal transitions with grace. For fans, this story offers not only insight into the couple's lives but also an example of how emotional maturity, respect, and foresight can transform what is often seen as a negative event into a demonstration of personal strength. Ultimately, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's divorce is more than a legal ending, it's a carefully executed chapter in a larger life story. It demonstrates that separation does not have to mean chaos, that dignity can survive even when relationships change, and that children can remain at the heart of decisions without the spectacle of conflict. For those watching from the outside, it is a quiet yet powerful reminder that how we handle endings can define us as much as our beginnings. As Nicole, Keith, and their daughters step into this new phase, one thing is clear: the story is far from over, but the grace with which they are navigating it will leave a lasting impression on fans and on Hollywood itself.